In 2017, the Georgia Bulldogs came this close to a national championship, and the biggest reason why was because they had players from the previous year return to Georgia for their final season in 2017. Guys like Nick Chubb, Sony Michel, Lorenzo Carter, and even Davin Bellamy, guys who could have left after 2016, came back because they knew they had something special on the horizon, and they almost came away winning the national championship. And if the 21 Bulldogs want to do the same thing, it's going to be the same reason why. They had plenty of guys returning, guys who could have left and been drafted in this April's draft. You have to start with the quarterback, JT Daniels. But, man, Devonta Wyatt coming back was big. But Jordan Davis, the big guy in the middle, coming back just makes Georgia's defensive line one of the best in college football, maybe better than Clemson's. And if you want to win a national championship, that's exactly what you have to have. You have to have a big-time defensive line. And that's what they have now. They would have been just fine with Trayvon Walker, Jalen Carter, and the rest of those guys. But Wyatt and Davis coming back really changes things. It makes Georgia even better in the front seven. But again, if you want to win a national title, you have to have guys come back. You have to have veteran leadership. Najee Harris came back last year for Alabama. Look what that did for them. Mac Jones kind of had to come back as a full-year starter, but we saw what he was in his fourth year in that system. One of the most efficient quarterbacks we've ever seen in college football. A tremendous season. And then, of course, Devonta Smith. He could have left. He came back, and he was a Heisman Trophy winner. That stuff matters. Nick Chubb and Sony Michel coming back, that mattered. Lorenzo Carter, you saw what he did in the Rose Bowl and against Notre Dame. Because he was a senior. He'd been there before. You need guys like that if you want to make it and go all the way. And I think that sets up really nicely for Georgia. Not only did they have those two come back on defense, but they are stacked at running back again. I thought they only needed one of them to come back, Zamir White or James Cook. As it turns out, they both decided to come back. And I think a lot of that has to do with their big win over Cincinnati in the Peach Bowl. Right before that, I thought people would forget about that game. 12 hours later, wouldn't think about it ever again. But if they lose that game, Jack Podlesny misses that kick. If their left tackle doesn't get ejected for targeting in the second quarter, leading to Azeez Ojulari 3 sacks in the second half, Cincinnati probably wins that game. Of course, if Georgia misses that super long 53, 54-yard kick, they lose the game. Is that what took James Cook to come back, Zamir White? If they lose that game, okay, we lost 3 games again. Maybe I should take my talents elsewhere. You know, my time at Georgia's run its course. It is what it is. I don't know how much of winning that game fueled them to come back to try to make a bigger run in 21. It could have, but at the end of the day, I think winning that game probably meant more than we thought at the time, because that really kick-started this team going into 21, and soon after we saw JT Daniels come back. We saw Jordan Davis come back. Devonta Wyatt, James Cook, Zamir White, and then, of course, Jamari Sawyer. That's one of the bigger ones. He gives Georgia so much flexibility on the offensive line now. Again, he's going to be a multi-year starter. Impact guy. He was still one of the best high school football prospects I've ever seen, and now he's coming back for another big year, and it's absolutely huge. And I think this resembles a lot like it did going into the 2017 season. People knew Georgia was going to be good even after a terrible 2016, but it was because they had senior leadership. Isaiah Wynn, Dominic Sanders, Jeb Blazevich, he was kind of a leader in the locker room and all that. He played a lot, basically an extra offensive lineman. John Atkins on the defensive line. Combine that with the guys returning, and of course you had a special season. 2021 is starting to look like that more and more, at least in my head. The schedule sets up nicely. You've heard us talk about that over and over by now. After Clemson, I don't see Georgia losing a game unless they get really, really tripped up, and that should not happen, especially when you have veterans coming back. You have senior leadership and guys who should be playing in the NFL if they wanted to, still playing in college and competing at a high level. So, again, if Georgia does have a magical season in 21, it's going to be because of the guys who came back. It's going to be because of JT Daniels, Jordan Davis, and Jamari Sawyer. That could be your Nick Chubb, Sony Michel, and Lorenzo Carter. Davin Bellamy also made a lot of plays. I don't think he ended up getting drafted anyway, but he still came back, so I'll throw him in there. Yeah, it does feel like 2017 again. There's a lot of momentum right now in the program, a lot of momentum on the recruiting trail for sure. You know I have videos coming up about that. But at the end of the day, Georgia is a very, very good team, and I think the schedule is a big reason why they are going to make a national title run. But the biggest reason why is the same reason why they made that run in 2017. The veterans coming back, the seniors, the leaders, and I think those guys coming back sparked the team even more. Those guys are coming back for a reason. They're going to be in everyone's behind during spring. They came back for a national title run, and that's what they're going to be focused on for the next few months, and they're going to be prepared. I really do think that they're going to go into the game against Clemson and Charlotte and really show that they are one of the best teams in the country. I expect Jordan Davis to have a big game. JT Daniels, this is your year, man. Fourth year in the system. We saw what Joe Burrow did in his fifth year at LSU when he came back. It's easy to play at 23 years old, you know, in college football. That's what he said afterwards. But it means a lot when you have guys coming back, especially at quarterback. That's what you need. The last 2 years, we saw exceptional quarterback play, two of the best quarterbacks in college football history. Season-wise, Mac Jones last year and Joe Burrow the previous year. JT Daniels could have a similar type of season. I really do believe that. And I think it's going to set up Georgia for a big national title run in 2021. There's no excuses. We've talked about the talent. We've talked about the roster, the schedule. And, of course, this video highlights the biggest reason in my mind why they're going to make a national title run. And it's because of these guys that we saw earlier in January decide to stay for another final season at Georgia. Those guys are going to be the reason that the Bulldogs make a national title run in 2021. Guys, thanks for watching this video. As always, stay tuned to the next video coming up right now, and I'll see you over on the website.